Senator Gold, Canadians are shocked at the reports that Beijing diplomatic officials in Canada targeted MP Michael Chong and his family in retaliation for his House of Commons motion condemning the Uyghur genocide. Even more astonishing was that you repeated Prime Minister Trudeau's assertion last week that CSIS didn't think the threats to a sitting member of Parliament were a, quote, significant enough concern in their judgment, unquote. A CSIS intelligence assessment from July 2021 warned of the potential threats against MP Chong's family. At that time, Canadian citizens Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig were still held hostage in China. Their sham trials had occurred only 3 months earlier. In that context, it is unbelievable that CSIS and the PM's National Security Advisor found threatened intimidation of a sitting MP and his family failed to pose a significant enough concern to warrant informing the Prime Minister, the Minister of Public Safety, and the targeted MP himself. Senator Gold, if what the Prime Minister is saying were true, that CSIS didn't think this threat to a sitting MP was serious enough, why hasn't anyone been fired for this? Is this because Prime Minister Trudeau has set up his senior security apparatus to treat him as a ceremonial Prime Minister?
Senator Gold.
Well, I will continue to make every effort to answer seriously to questions that raise serious issues, though it does sometimes strain my creativity to do so in the face of some of the implications. And I'm about to answer it, colleagues, but you'll at least allow me the small indulgence to comment on the rhetoric that surrounds these otherwise important issues that you raise for your purposes. The Prime Minister was very clear. The Prime Minister was very clear that although his government was not made aware until the Globe and Mail published the leaked documents, that he has instructed CSIS, and I quote, "Going forward," said the Prime Minister, "we are making it very, very clear to CSIS and all our intelligence officials that when there are concerns that talk specifically about any member of Parliament, particularly about their family, those need to be elevated, even if CSIS doesn't feel that it's a sufficient level of concern for them to take more direct action. We still need to know about it at the upper government level." That is what this government is. That is what this government has instructed CSIS. That is the way in which it expects the intelligence services to go forward.
Senator Batters.
Senator Gold, Prime Minister Trudeau's Public Safety Minister, Marco Mendocino, plays fast and loose where facts are concerned. He recently claimed that RCMP had ousted Beijing government police stations operating in Canada, but an article days later proved that wasn't the case. During last year's convoy, Mendocino repeatedly insisted that police asked for the federal government to invoke the Emergencies Act, a claim that was flatly denied by police. And now, after enduring intense opposition criticism on this issue, Minister Mendocino finally said last week that he's only known about the threats against MP Michael Chong since last Monday, even though the CSIS assessment was dated July 2021. Whether the minister willfully failed to be informed or whether his advisors failed to inform him, either way, it's a firing offence. The question is who will be fired. If the public safety minister is so unaware of what's going on in his portfolio, when will he finally be fired? And if CSIS knew 2 years ago and failed to inform him until last week, who will lose their job there?
Senator Gold.
Senator Batters, colleagues, my job is to answer questions, and I will. It is not to try to school this chamber on the basic elements of how security information is transmitted from CSIS or our other agencies through various levels. And nor is it my obligation nor desire to remind you that we are still dealing with leaked material with which we actually have no notice how nuanced it was or it wasn't, published and taken seriously and by this government, leaked information that is being taken seriously by this government and acted upon by this government upon its receipt. So with regard to the rest of your question, Senator Batter, the fact remains that this government is taking the steps necessary to protect Canadians from foreign interference. The actions it took in expelling the diplomat, declaring the person non grata, sends a strong signal not only to China but to other countries who seek to interfere with our democratic processes.